All right, we're going to look in this video at church. How do you think about church? What goals do you need to come up with about church? So we're going to try to apply our vision, for church, our personality traits, our gifts, our values, to goals as they relate to church. So again, we've looked at the personal, marriage, family, friends, and now we're looking at church. And then I'll say something about kingdom and world. So this will be our last video. So church goals, again, the quick start. Number one, where in church, your church life, are you hurting, and what do you want to do about it? So maybe it's getting kids to go, getting kids excited about it, getting you excited about it. Maybe it's the sermon, maybe it's the song. You sit there, you don't sing, you don't like to sing, you don't want to sing, you don't like standing, you want to sit. I don't know, or is it the money, giving the offering, or getting involved, or the cliques at a church, or I don't know. Where in the whole church thing is like the pinching point for you and your family or your marriage? Number two, where in church do you want to just take something to the next level? It's not necessarily a problem that you have with church or, some aspect of church. It's just, I wish I did this. I wish I dared to step out and do that. So, what goals could you come up with that relate to taking church to the next level? Like you've been sitting in the pew, but you want to get off the pew. You want to do something. Or where are you hurting? So that'd be the easiest thing to start with in terms of thinking about goals for church. Then we're going to do the long look. So here's some topics that you could put some goals under. Areas to think about church. So attendance. Yeah, what goals do you have in terms of attending church or attending church functions? When I grew up going to church, there was no thinking about attendance. You went. You went to church. In fact, you prepared for church on Saturday. You had to have a bath, you had to shine your shoes, get your best suit out, and then you went on Sunday morning. You had Sunday morning service, then Sunday morning Sunday school, and then you went in the evening as well. And we were little kids. And church was at 7 o'clock at night in the evening, and we were little kids. We were in church. And then after church, we went to one of our cousins' houses. I don't know how we did it. I don't know how it works with families today. Kids are in bed at 5 o'clock. Did we not sleep? Did we sleep at school? I don't know how we did it. But attendance is more of an option now. And I see this happening over and over. People come back to church because they have little kids. Oh, maybe we should go to church. So they bring their little kids. And then when the kids turn 11, 12, 13 years old, kids start objecting. I don't want to go to church. Oh, well, you got to go to church. And then parents just throw up their hands and go, what can we do? And church becomes a decision every Sunday. Are we going? I don't know. Are we going? If church becomes a decision, you're not going half the time. So what goals do you need to set in terms of attendance? Because you know what? If you're not a part of it, you won't be a part of it. Or you will be a part of it, but your kids will drop out. Church does not work half-hearted. Half-hearted church does not work. I can tell you that for absolute sure. Leadership. What area in church could you lead? What gift do you have? You see, this is where your gifts and abilities come into play. Spiritual gifts, okay? We talked about that. Volunteering, worship. We sing. I sometimes watch people out in the sanctuary, and there's a father sitting there like mumbling. Okay, what kind of example are you giving? This is supposed to be our offering to God, and you're like half-hearted about it. Oh, but I can't sing. It doesn't matter. Nowhere does it say, sing to the Lord a new song if you're a good singer. It doesn't say that. It says sing. It's your worship. Evangelism. Okay, share the faith that you have. Share what has God done for you? Has He done anything for you? Share it. So what are your goals in terms of evangelism? Hospitality. Look how God has blessed you. Share it with somebody. Education, learning, growing. There's all this stuff to learn. prayer, Bible. Okay, so on and on and on. What goals can you have in terms of church? Okay, applying your personality traits to areas in your church life. In the light of your personality traits, what goals can you think of that might improve your church life? So, what personality trait do you have? Well, you're an extrovert. If you're an extrovert, why don't you be a greeter? I'm an introvert. Okay, be a counter. Be the coffee person. I don't know. There's a role for whatever traits you have. You like things in order. Okay, then we need things put in order. We need people to organize things. Oh, I don't like that. I like a dreamer. Fine, we need dreamers too. Whatever your personality trait, we need in church. So what goals can you come up with because of your personality traits? Apply your values to areas in your church. In the light of your values, what goals do you think you might improve your church life? Oh, say if you're a hard worker, well, we need things done. If you're good with your hands, well, get involved with, we have a building and grounds committee. We got all kinds of stuff that needs fixing. We have, if you're good with the children, we have things that need children. If you're good with helping kids, and we have kids clubs, we have youth group, we have all these things at church. There's not whatever your values are, we need them. So what goals could you come up with that make use of your values? Apply your gifts to areas in the church life. In the light of your gifts, what can you think of might improve your spelling? So all you spellers caught that. You are organized people. We need organized people. All right, that's your gift. Volunteer at the office. What goals can you think of that take advantage of your gifts? If you were to write out a church vision statement, what would it be? A church vision statement for yourself. My vision is to inspire the people at church and be inspired, to encourage the people in church and be encouraged, to make use of my gifts and to help others make use of their, I don't know, there's all kinds of things that you could say. In the light of your church vision statement, what goals can you think of that might improve your church life and the church life of others? You see, we're in this together. That's what people don't understand. People think that it's, I go to church and I didn't get anything out of it. Well, you know what? What are you giving to it? It's a communal thing. It's a committee thing. When you're not involved, that hurts me. When I'm not involved, it hurts you. When you stay away, it hurts me. When I stay away, it hurts you. We're in this together. Kinds of church goals, church lifetime goal. What's your lifetime goal with church? That's a good question. What is my lifetime goal with church? I think my lifetime goal is to be excited about church from the time I was born to the time I die. I don't want to be one of those guys that, shows up at the church because it's my funeral. Oh, yeah, Bob is finally here in church again because he died and here's his casket. No. Steve, this is home for him. This funeral service in the church is home for him because this is where he spent a lot of his time. He did a lot of the most important things that he ever did right here with this group of people. Long-term church goals. This is, again, where you might use your gifts. When I was a kid, it was like I didn't know how I fit into church. I didn't know I was a speaker. I didn't know I was going to be a pastor. So I was struggling at some point. Like, I don't know, how do I fit? Is it music? Where do I fit? And once I figured it out, well, I became passionate about it. Church short-term goals. Okay, how to make church short-term goals you can live with and actually accomplish. Again, be specific. Make it measurable. Give yourself a deadline, reward, and penalty. So what do you want to do in church? Well, I want to use my gifts. Okay, what do you mean by that? What gifts and what do you want to do with your gifts? So again, get specific. Make it measurable. Give yourself a deadline. When are you going to figure this out? I don't know. See one of the pastors. Talk to one of the elders. Don't just sit in the pew. Figure something out. Prioritize your church goals. Option 1, just go back to the quick start and make one or both of those your goals. Where are you hurting in church? And what goals do you need to, take hold of to sort of answer that? Or where do you want to take something to the next level? Very simple. If that's all you do, that would be awesome. Option 2, go through all the goals you came up with in the long look and apply one or more of these criteria to these goals. So prioritize criteria. Which goals are the most urgent for you in church? And if your family isn't regularly attending, maybe that's, nothing good happens if you're not there. So maybe that's the most urgent. So that's your goal. Which goals are the most important? Walking with God, sharing with others. We have this way to share the scripture, on the app. Well, I don't know how to work the app. Well, then find out how to work the app. And then contribute. Why not contribute? It seems like we have 6 or 7 of the same people always contributing. Why don't you contribute? Which goals, if accomplished, would make the biggest difference in your life? Getting involved in a small group, getting an accountability partner, discovering your gifts and using them. Which goals do you think you are most willing and ready to actually pursue? Which goals do you think you could most easily and assuredly accomplish? Volunteer for something. Just volunteer. Am I any good at this? I don't know. Does it matter? Just try it. How do you know what you're good at or not good at until you try? All right. Time wasters in your church life. Where do you waste a lot of church time? Probably most of us don't waste church time. We just waste other time, and then we don't end up in church. We just don't go to things. What time wasters do you need to eliminate or reduce in your church time? What demands of others do you need to eliminate and reduce in your church time? What things in your life are getting in the way of your church involvement? That's probably the key one right there. Why is church on the back burner? See, church is the place to be encouraged. Church is the place to discover who you are and your gifts and abilities. When I think about who I am today, it's because of church. I was in high school. I volunteered to teach 3rd grade Sunday school. Then a year later, I volunteered to teach 8th grade catechism. I went on a mission trip to Ogden, Utah, sponsored by my church. My church gave me opportunities to try and figure out who I am and what I'm good at. You know why? Because church is the place that loves you no matter what you do. Everywhere else it's conditional. You take a job and you just try things and you fail, guess what? They don't pay you. They fire you. In church they say, good try. Good try. Maybe if you work at it, you'll get good at this. Or maybe you should try this or try that. Church is the place that loves you no matter what you do. Church is a place that wants to use your gifts and abilities, that wants you to be an encouragement and wants to encourage you. That's what the church is. Church is the place that will last forever. Everything else falls away. Church carries on. Now, we've looked at the personal, we've looked at marriage, we looked at family, we looked at friends, we looked at church. These circles are getting bigger and bigger. The next one is kingdom. We could do the same thing with kingdom. Kingdom is beyond your church. Kingdom is going down to Guatemala and trying to help church down there. Or any of the mission things that we have. When you get involved with our mission committee and the different causes that we support, you're getting involved in the kingdom. When you deal with other people that go to other churches, you're dealing with the kingdom. When you go to the Christian school, you're dealing with the kingdom. You're part of what God is doing beyond your local church. So what goals do you have to be a part of that? And then finally, connection 7 is the world. The world that is not connected to Christ. Now we're talking evangelism. We're talking outreach. We're talking hospitality. What goals should you have with the people at work? I mean, what could you do? Not that tomorrow you're going to go to work and save them, but what could you do? Could you have them over? How about your neighbor or the person across the street that you've never met? You've lived how many years in that place and you really have never had them over. You've never talked to them. Could you do that? Or could you get involved in a community thing where you actually get to know people? You know, I'm involved in a pickleball world thing. And so every week I deal with people who are, some are marginally connected to church, some are in church, and some have nothing to do with church, not against it, but just aren't in it. And then there's a whole group of people that aren't in it at all. And then there's atheists that are offended if I pray at a pickleball meeting of some sort. So every week I have that. It's awesome. It's great. Because it makes me think about my faith. It makes me think about what I believe. And then how can I be the best witness that I can be? And it has to authentically come out of my life. So I have to actually live it. And I have to think about what Christ really does for me in a practical day-to-day. Just yesterday I sat down with a guy and he was asking me why the world hates Jews. And so he didn't know anything about that. He didn't even know that the Jews, that their homeland was Israel for, thousands of years. Doesn't know that Bible history at all. Well, what a great opportunity to share stuff. So what goals do you need to have to get involved with these things? So this is where I'm going to end it. Now, part of what I want to do is I'm giving you all this stuff, and and maybe you're like overwhelmed. Maybe some of you never got to this point. Of course, if you're listening to this, you did get to this point. If you didn't get to this point, you're not hearing me say this, so it's sort of worthless. But I'm giving you all this, and you can do a little or you can do a lot. The more you do, the better for you. And then what I want to do, this is only part one. This is just, sort of downloading information so that you can sort of figure things out. And notice most of it is questions. It's questions that you need to figure out. I can't just tell you what to do or how to do it. But then I want to, part of this program is to call. So I'm going to call you. And you can say, I don't need this or whatever it is. But what I'm going to say is, so can I help hold you accountable for goals? Or can I help you think about some area of your life, you're struggling with even coming up with goals? I just want to help. And a lot of times, this whole coaching thing, it's a coaching thing. It's not me wanting to have you do anything. It's me trying to help you do and try to figure out what you want to do and help you succeed in doing what you want to do. So my focus is on you. And I can help you a lot, or I can help you a little, or I don't have to help you at all. It's totally up to you. And hey, and if you got to the end here, thank you. You encourage me by even being a part of this. So thank you.